Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we break down all the goals in the Champions League. And today, it's Inter Milan against Barcelona. I was going to say Bayern Munich. I'm losing my mind. For the Champions League semi-final, let's be honest, it was a bit of an epic as well. So many goals scored, so much to talk about. There's loads of stuff that they haven't, shown on the highlights yet, and I might try to do a second video because there's loads of talking points in here that they're sort of hiding away, and they're very, notoriously bad for doing that as well. But we're going to talk about the first goal here, and it really was a clash of two styles. And it was great to watch. I hope you got to watch the game like I did. Absolutely brilliant clash of two styles, which is fantastic. But look at Barcelona's setup here. And this is one of the problems when you're playing with a certain style of system and you don't have anybody out here creating you width. So what you have to do when you're in this situation, when you're trying to pass the ball out from the back and build, don't. Because you're not in a situation or you're set up where you can get the ball out wide. And if you put the ball into the middle of the field there, you're just crowding yourself out because there's nowhere for the ball to go. So if he pings the ball here, even if he moves the ball to there, this player can get there and there quick enough because there's just not enough space. The space is too small for him to cover, and he can get there. And that's how he ended up getting caught out here. Look, they play this ball in here. Look, boom, takes a touch. But there's nowhere really for him to go. Even if he knocks the ball there, unless he passes it into the space for the running on player, there's almost nothing happening. And you can see he's kind of like a little bit panicking, a little bit, oh no, what do I do? Dump, and it's too late. There's three players there, two trying to intercept the ball, the other one trying to intercept. If he does pass the ball into that area there, like I talked about, and it's just really, really difficult. Where your only out ball really was out wide, over here to Lamine Yamal, and that's about it. And this thing where players are just constantly playing the system and not being able to play football is becoming more and more apparent as we move forward with the old time clock. And I reckon by 2030, the football as you know is going to be completely different. But let's move it up. This little dink ball right here that they're pinging, look, you can see here's the run, little run. Barcelona's line playing them up. You can see Inter Milan have been really looking at this technically. Because the amount of little flicks that they played just with the outside of the foot for someone to run onto, dump straight into that space was a lot this game. And I guarantee you they don't normally play that sort of balls in the in Serie A. It's not really their thing. But today with that high line, they were off to the races. I do feel a little sorry for the keeper here because he's got no chance. What's he going to do? He's got to go to the ball. He's in that thing. Maybe he can come out and win it a little bit quicker, but he can't. It's just in an area. It's too far. Yeah. And then it's just a tap in. Yeah. And off goes the crazy game. This is the little through ball again. Barcelona's high line. I think they've been watching Tottenham Hotspur play and they're trying to see how many goals they can concede in the game. This leads up to the penalty. And this is a weird one for me because I watched it a bunch of times and I just didn't think this was a penalty. And then you watch it from one certain angle where you see he doesn't touch the ball and all the other ones he does. And it's strange where I'd really like tackles like this to go through because to me it's part of the game. But we don't want to see bad tackles causing penalties. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we want to see really, atrocious tackles and bad decisions and all these things in football. And I think with VAR though, it's just making things so sort of methodical and boring because we're getting to the point where even though VAR says go look at the monitor, we immediately don't believe them. I didn't anyway. I just thought, oh no, they've got it. It's just going to be wrong because they got so many wrong before. And again, this is another decision. I've never seen one yet. Let me know if you ever have. When they've been told to go and look at the monitor, the ref said no penalty on the field, goes to the monitor and he sticks by his guns and says no penalty. Every single time the referee goes to the monitor, he changes his mind. That's a bit dodgy. And not only that, is it clear and obvious? No, because you could give this on the field and you could say, no, not really. Because the difference is the speed of play on the field. And let me show you. So it's got to be clear and obvious. In real time, we're not looking in, we're not zooming in at the feet. We're looking at this. Bump, tackle. The ball changes direction. Do we see that? The ball's going this way. The players come across this way. And the ball's ended up going out that way. You can clearly go, yeah, okay, he touched the ball. Yeah. No, he actually doesn't. But it's so tiny and micro, you know what I mean? So it has to be clear and obvious. And to me, that's not clear and obvious. If you're on the field and you go, no penalty, he's gone through, he's touched the ball, I've seen it come out the other side, away we go. Okay, all right, fair. But it's not like blatantly obvious that should have been a penalty. This is one of those decisions that gets, A load of people will say yes, and a load of people will say no, and that's the problem. It can't be. It has to be clear and obvious, and it's just not. You have to find the right angle out of 4, and then go, oh yeah, look, he doesn't touch the ball. But yeah, on we go. It was actually a really well taken penalty. Slots it into the bottom left hand corner. He's really, really good. The way he approaches it and he dummies with it, well, his body language looks like, it really does look like he's going right there. It really does. And he pulls it to the other side. He does a very good job on that penalty. Before this ball comes in, I want you to have a little look at the Italian defence set up there. That looks quite solid. The only key thing is you've got 2 people, right, that are completely unmarked and sort of drifting. Okay, 1, 2. You can say here 1 there, but I'm going to say that he's splitting the difference between these 2, and he's splitting the difference between those 2. So you've got 2 players potentially that can close him down. Okay, he's a little bit too far away. He can maybe, but that leaves him free, but completely unmarked. And this is very unlike an Italian defence. And I think there's something like the way into play, there's a couple of flaws when they're actually sort of back defending, where you can catch them with this little ball here. Look, as it goes in, they've got pressure on the ball. Someone's put their arm up. Oh my God, never noticed that. And we know what's going to happen in the next 5 seconds. Someone is going to score a goal because you should be doing a job and you're not. But can you see the extra space all of a sudden he's got now, where these 2 players were? He's no longer splitting them. He's going off with his player. He's not doing anything. And we can see, look how many players are actually free when this ball comes across. And to be fair, when he catches this is quality technique. Look, what Dosh quality technique to find the spot. Now, there was lots of technical faults I could point out in this game, but I'll tell you now, there was so much great technical play from people taking the ball out of the air, knocking it down the line, under pressure, back to goal. There was so many great little things. That is another one. That you go, oh, that's an easy technique. No, it's actually not, because he's got to keep it down. That's the hard part, because he's coming onto it. There's a whole thing that I yell at people about all the time, because they say you've got to get your knee over the ball, which is absolutely utter nonsense. If you don't know why, keep watching, because I'm going to tell you why eventually. Well, it's all about your standing foot. Standing foot, if it's too far forward, your knee's over the ball and you're going to like scuff the ball. If your foot's too far back, your knee can't be over the ball. So it's all about where your standing foot is. If your standing foot is correct, your knee is always over the ball. That's it. It's your standing foot. And people go, well, it's your timing. Yeah, it's the timing of when your standing foot goes down to when you strike the ball. If your standing foot is not in the right place, your knee won't be over the ball. And the amount of commentators will go, oh, he didn't get his knee over the ball. No, that's not the reason. He didn't get his standing foot correct, which made his knee not get over the ball. And they don't understand this. Like, you find any commentator or any coach or any ex-professional to actually tell you how to kick a ball properly. They don't know. They think, oh, the knee over the ball. Well, no, the standing foot makes the knee go over the ball. It's like saying, I've got a bleeding nose. How did you get a bleeding nose? Did you get punched in the face, or did you walk into a wall? Did you fall down the stairs? I've got a bleeding nose. Well, we can see he's got a bleeding nose. We can see he didn't get his knee over the ball. But how? Why? Why is that happening? How do you fix it? Not one of them will ever tell you, because not one of them actually knows anything about football. Another rant over. I'll have to have a whole section of cash rants and clip that up, I think. Barcelona do another great counter-attacking play, and actually it's not as good as you think it is. When you watch it and you watch it fully, I might do it for my Patreon, actually, do an expansion video on my Patreon so I can show a little bit more things. If you're not over there, it's free to join. It's just where I can let clips roll sometimes and actually let things go through that I can't do here on YouTube. But the problem with this counter-attack is it looks fancy, but it's actually not at pace. So there's no real intent there. So when everyone's slow and taking their time doing the thing and no one's taking responsibility to score the goal, does the keeper make a good save? Let me show you, because that's what I'm building to. Because when you see how slow that pace of that build-up is running down the field to do that, I'm almost telling you straight away they weren't going to score. When this ball's pulled back, all he's got to do is tap it in the goal. You can see where the keeper is. Does the keeper make a decent save? Not really. He puts it bang in the middle of the goal. All he has to do is tuck it there. Keeper, I've got to give him credit. It's still a decent save. Right? Keeper made some great saves. I want to comment on one in a little bit, but it was a good save. But they made it easy for him. That should have been into the bottom corner and given the keeper no chance. The keeper still had to get there. Yeah, and he did. But it wasn't great because, well, it was given to him, really. I say it once a week. I say it 10 times a week, right? When people are taking free kicks, you cannot play a high line. Is this a free kick? Yes and no. What do you mean? Well, there's no pressure on the ball. The reason why you can't play the high line when you've got a free kick is because there's no pressure on the ball, so the person can take time, pick a spot, deliver it, and score. Okay? Simple. When you've got no pressure on the ball like this, immediately what these defenders need to be doing is backpedaling and taking that space away as fast as they can. Because as this ball comes across here, look, boom, takes a touch. You can see a couple of them do 1, 2, start to skip, knowing exactly what's going to happen, but not enough. And the space there for these quality players to put the ball into is, it's easy. That's easy for him. And then it's just counter runner, beat a defender that's nowhere near him because both are on the wrong side and everybody else is occupied here in the middle. Yeah. So it is a decent ball. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Lamine Yamal, actually, because I'm going to let everybody down. He ain't going to be that great. I'm going to tell you what. He's going to be good. He's going to be one of those players, but he's not going to be a Messi, Ronaldo, even a Wayne Rooney or Gareth Bale type wonder player. He's not. And I'll show you why. Boomf. There we go. Well, I'll tell you why. Decent header. Honestly, it really is a bullet header, but it's all about that delivery. And it's all about them having no pressure on the ball and those defenders not dropping quick enough. Again, this is one of those things. Let me just get my camera so we've got more of the field that I'm talking about here. It's one of those things that I'm shocked Inter have done. Look, you've got your back three. 1, 2, 3. Why are you going? Why are you going? Like, he hasn't. You've left Rafinha completely unmarked. And that's where the ball goes. That's where the goal comes from. You have to wait your time before you start pushing because you need to be doing that defensive work and your team has just lost the ball too quickly. You've gone too early and you're playing Barcelona. Bosh, look how quick that ball's gone. Centre-back's coming across to cover, but it's all way too late. First shot, keeper safe. Actually, honestly, what's his name? Summer? I know that it's not Summer, is it? It's like Summer. To me, he was man of the match. He's made so many basic saves. This still is a basic save, but he's still got to do it. I know they score, but the one I was talking about earlier when he didn't put it into the corner, he put it right down the middle of the goal. The amount of saves this kid he made, he just did a great job. But then it's reactions, bump, and it's in the back of the net. Really smart for, I'm not sure who that was on the line there, just to get out of the way and let it in. But let me go on my Lamine Yamal rant here. There was, I don't know if it's in the highlights, so I'm going to mention it. Near the end of the game, he's got one trick where he comes and cuts inside. Now, the problem when you're a young player is you've got the pace. No one knows what you're doing. So you can get away with just doing this one little dip your shoulder, come in, dip your shoulder, come in, dip your shoulder, come in. Slowly but surely, two things happen. They all know that's the only thing you're going to do, and you don't really have another trick in your locker. It will happen with players like Marcus Rashford, loads of players that aren't good enough. I'll tell you what he does have, though. He has a really, really good little dink delivery from his... He doesn't power the crossover. He has this little chip dink that he does, and it's really quality. Comes in and dinks it over. But there's not much more to his game. You don't see him... I know he's still young. I know there's a load more growth, but there isn't any sort of other drive there. You don't see him getting angry. You don't see him taking the game by the scruff of the neck. I know he's 17. I know it's the Champions League semi-final, so you're not expecting it. But even when he goes on little runs and he loses the ball, there's not much left there. You don't see another dynamic run. He stays in his spot. What I mean, a dynamic run. When Rafinha or somebody else has got the ball, you're not going to see him running across the other side of the field to get involved in the play or trying to, drop it. He does drop a little bit to try to combine, but that's only because he hasn't touched the ball for 10 minutes. So when you're watching him from a sort of an analytic point of view, going, right, he gets the ball, yeah, but other than doing these 4 things, he hasn't really done much else in the game. And you're going to wonder if that's going to be enough to compel him on to be a great player. Because there's so many players that pop up when they're young, and by the time they hit their mid-20s, 22, 24, they're not there. So said it here first, and I'll be the first to say I'm wrong, by the way, but we're going to have a little bit more of a watch of him over the next couple of games, and I'm going to give you a bit more of an in-depth detail on this little kiddie as time goes by. As I'm giving him a hard time, though, this is what I'm talking about, is that he comes in and he cuts in, and he does have a really powerful foot. He can strike the ball. Comes in, boff, hits the ball, strike, hits the post. I mean, he is really good at that. Let's be fair. But then, aren't most players? Yeah, probably. So this goal that Inter scored, because I was trying to find the whole clip of it and I can't because, they don't let me do what I want to do. there was an Inter player down on the ground, and the ref said play on. I can't remember. There was a foul or something. He got hurt. He's down on the ground. But what Inter did is they carried on playing football, like I was talking about in one of my videos from the weekend. But if you just keep playing football, you'll get rewarded. And they just kept going. Everything didn't seem to work out quite right. There's the little pass. Barcelona player kind of gets muddled up in his feet a little bit, just a little bit. But they just keep going. Look, oh, we're going to go. We're going to win the ball. Barcelona player takes a bit of a dive, looking for a free kick, which he was never going to get. And if I've ever seen a tired, lazy striker cross goal, this is one. Bump. Kind of mishits it with the inside of his foot into the roof of the net. Now, this is the question of the day I want to ask you. It's 3-2. Someone just whipped a ball in. You've hit it with the inside of your foot in the Champions League semi-finals to go and play in the final. You've just scored a goal. Are you celebrating taking your shirt off like a madman like this guy? Are you ripping both your shirts off, running around the stadium like a crazy person? Or are you being more relaxed, confined? I know it's extra. Now you know you're going to go get into extra time. I want to know in the comments below what you would do, because I know what I would do. I want to know what you would do. Defensively, a shock. Barcelona are all over the place. I think if this is the, for the winning goal. I want you to look at that space there, and there isn't a Barcelona player close to being able to defend the space. Okay, maybe he can move forward into it, but he's going that way. He can never get there. No chance, no chance. And this is the area where the goal comes. And this is important because those gaps in your shape in your system that ends up appearing, that is always where goals come from. That's why it's so important to keep your shape, because what it is there's someone there that can tackle the ball. And if you don't keep your shape, there's no one there to tackle the ball. And all of a sudden, that's what ends up happening here. Boom, little thinking. When the run comes in, look, when he comes, still no one's in this pocket of space inside the 18-yard box. I was listening to one come, oh, well, so why didn't someone put pressure on him? There's no time. Because the time that they needed to be able to put pressure on would have meant he would have had to have been there in the first place. That means when the ball's played, he could go and put pressure on him. If he's not there by the time that ball's played, he's never going to get there because it's inside the 18-yard box. It's completely different rules, by the way, in football, inside the 18-yard box and down the rest of the field. Boom, there goes the layoff. Look, this is how much. 1, 2, 3 into Milan. I was going to say into Miami. God, I'm losing my brain. I'm doing too much work. 3 players inside the box with all the time in the world. Yeah, I know it's extra time. And yeah, I know everyone's tired, but I don't care. You need to be doing your jobs properly. And this isn't doing it. Has a little bit of a touch. I love that little fake, by the way. That little fake there, because Barcelona, little player, he dives to the ground. That's the only time that if he stayed on his feet, he could have blocked the shot. That little hesitation, little dink. He didn't need to do a step over. Like I told you, shoulders and hips, just jolt at the guy, just move forward. I remember, like I tell you, to flex with your shoulder, to make your friends duck. Simple goal, passes it in a corner, keeper's got no chance. One little last take about keepers. This is Lamine Yamal cutting in again, doing a similar thing. Now, bearing in mind, I'm giving him a hard time. This is all Mo Salah's done, and he's been one of the best players in the world for the past 5-6 years. So, yeah, there's room to grow, but bump, that little flick there, touch, is as good as a goal. Brilliant goalkeeping. He was my man of the match. I really enjoyed watching him play. Other than that, I'll see you in the final. No, maybe we're going to cover the Tottenham Spurs game tomorrow. And Thursday, with a little bit of Man United. I'll see you then on Cash Talks Football.